Secchi, thank you. Welcome to all of you. I add my welcome to those of Pi Secchi Dr. Johnson. And congratulations, certainly for the class of 2015, but congratulations to all of you, to every single person in this room. Every single person has contributed in one way or another, directly or indirectly, to the success of these students. I think this event, which is celebratory for the students, is also celebratory for every single person in this room. So I welcome all the family members, spouses, partners, children, friends who have supported these students for 20 plus years of their education. And especially welcome the faculty members seated to my right, your left, who represent every department in the school from Las Vegas and Reno, who have come here to honor the graduation of these students. And add to that my thanks and appreciation for the many staff members who are here who make this event so positive, but more importantly, have shepherded these students through their experience here, through their education, and made it so positive. They're a critical part of the success of these students. I would also note that the diplomas that you see that are different this year. They have changed. They have changed with this class and on to future generations of graduates. They're different because they are signed personally by every single department chair in medical school. And we do that as a testimony to their commitment and the commitment of their faculty members to the excellence of these students' education. And I think it's symbolic of the commitment that the school has to excellence in education and to quality. I'd also like to welcome many special guests who have honored us with their presence, some seated behind me who have asked to stand and receive your appreciation, and some in the audience as well. Representing U.S. Senator Dean Heller, Samuel Crampton, Washoe County Commissioner Vaughn Hartung, who has a personal interest in today's ceremonies. Behind me, Vice Chair of the Board of Regents, Rick Krajcik. Regent James Dean Levitt. Susan Denser. In the audience, the Executive Vice President, Chief Medical Officer, and a clinical professor in this school, Dr. Max Kopus. And finally, behind me, President of the School of Medicine and Alumni Association, Dr. Helen Gray. So, my comments for the students, I always take advantage of this opportunity to do so. Each of you is about to become an alumnus of University of Nevada School of Medicine. I could not be more proud to welcome you to this distinguished group of physicians, but I also want to comment this morning or this afternoon on the fact that I feel a very special bond with you for several reasons. The first is that I was in your position almost exactly 40 years ago to the day, graduating from the University of Michigan. And this event and the lead up to this event and your experiences have been a reminder for me and brought back many special memories and very positive memories from my own experience in medical school. Secondly, and probably more importantly, you were the first students I welcomed shortly after my arrival here at the School of Medicine in 2011. If I remember correctly, studying throughout one's career is what characterizes a profession, is what characterizes medicine. Learning never stops. There are always challenges, and there are always opportunities to learn new skills, new knowledge throughout one's career, even at that stage of life. Medicine is defined by this, and this is the message I have for you today. There's a reason that we call these ceremonies commencement ceremonies. We don't call them a ceremony to celebrate the end of learning and study. Exams are harder, and they're not multiple choice. Future exams come in the form of patients who need your compassion and expertise. Future exams come in the form of communities who need your service and your professional contributions. Future exams come in the form of a healthcare system that is undergoing radical and profound change, and the system looks to you for guidance. Future exams come in the form of a long career in which you want to be even smarter at the end than you are now at the beginning. More skilled, more expert, more wise, more compassionate. And future exams come in the form of future generations of physicians who see you and want to be like you. So I congratulate each of you for your special accomplishments, special achievements, for the many ways that you've made this class special and made the School of Medicine better. I hope you could graduate with pride in the training you've received, in the experience that you've gained, the support you enjoyed as you take your skills and your knowledge and your professionalism and your compassion out into the world that needs you so much. Graduation is a time to be happy. It's a time to be sad. It's a time of pride. We're happy for your achievements, sad that you are leaving, proud of you as soon-to-be alumni of the University of Nevada School of Medicine. We look forward to your service as ambassadors of this special School of Medicine. You should also know that your success is what drives us. Our goal is for you to forever be proud of this School of Medicine, to continue the tradition of outstanding medical education that you have experienced, so that you are always proud to tell others that you graduated from the University of Nevada School of Medicine. I hope your work as a physician becomes an unending source of fascination, satisfaction, and rejuvenation, as it has been for me for the last 40 years. Congratulations and best wishes. I now have the privilege of introducing the president of the class of 2015, Jimmy Verlanik.
Thank you, Dean Schwenk. Okay, first of all, wow, can't believe we're here. Just as I was walking up to the stage, I didn't think I'd get emotional, but I actually started to get a little tear in my eye, so just thinking about all you guys. But so they say in medical school that the days are long, but the years are short, and I can certainly attest to that. As first-year medical students, the thought of what lied ahead in medical school was daunting, to say the least. And graduation itself seemed to be some infinitely far away, hazy future. It was only vaguely attainable, but here we are, and it really did go surprisingly fast. So 4 years ago when we started this journey, this is the day that we were all dreaming about, and it's here. We're now doctors, the esteemed benchmark that we've been striving for so long. But before I elaborate on how great my classmates are in the class of 2015, I'd first like to begin with a few heartfelt thank yous. First, to our family and friends who believed in our dream to pursue this crazy and challenging but very rewarding journey. Without your love and support, certainly this wouldn't be possible. Next, I'd like to thank the administration for all of your support, mentorship, and guidance through this entire process. This thank you also extends to our esteemed faculty, attendings, residents, and community physicians that have contributed so greatly to our training and education. Your hard work and dedication to our education and development as physicians are second to none. And finally, I would like to personally thank all of my classmates. It's been an honor to serve as your class president, And I'm very humbled to get the privilege to represent such an amazing group of doctors. Speaking of an amazing group, now on to the class of 2015. This collection of individuals before you has continued to astonish me in so many ways. They are a selfless group. Countless times over the past 4 years, they've volunteered for such events as festival medical tents, provided medical support to local endurance races. They attended career fairs at local high schools, conducted tours and demonstrations for undergraduate and high school medical interest groups. They led free clinics for the underserved, and our class was even responsible for getting the medical outreach group established, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They've continued to provide selfless acts throughout medical school, and they've consistently done this without any expectation of anything in return. They are a group that strives to give back. During fourth-year medical school, we're given an opportunity to help teach clinical skills to some of the first and second-year students. And this year, we had one of the highest turnouts ever of fourth-year students, all vying to have an opportunity to help mentor, guide, and shape the future of the classes behind us. They are a very bright group. This past year, the class of 2015 recorded the highest average on their Step 2 board exams in the history of the University of Nevada School of Medicine. Yeah, they're pretty smart. And that's really something when you consider all the amazing graduates that have come before us to this point. And I think it really points to both the quality of the education we received here and the quality of the students we have across the board in our class. They're a very motivated and competitive group. So besides graduation, one of the most exciting days of medical school, and especially for fourth year, is match day. And it's a day where we all find out where we're going to go to complete our residency training. And our match day was absolutely amazing. It was filled with astounding matches all across the country in some fantastic institutions and in some of the most competitive specialties out there. And the greatest thing is I have the privilege to call myself a peer to this wonderful group. But this group is far more than simply peers. Here at UNSUM, one of the greatest aspects of this school is the small class size. And this has afforded us the opportunity to develop amazingly close relationships that are surely to last a lifetime, and something that is not necessarily universal among all medical schools. And to say this group is close may be a bit of an understatement, considering about a sixth of the class is either dating or marrying each other. And that's only one of the many things that makes UNSUM so special. Thus, the class of 2015 represents a new wave of talented professionals ready to tackle the rigors of medical field with dedication to their communities, their patients, leadership, and passion for their patients. The future of medicine is in a state of flux right now, but with new physicians like these, there's more than a lot to look forward to. I know with certainty that my classmates, these physicians, will go forth and continue to represent UNSUM in the best way possible wherever they end up. What you see in front of you today is the future of medicine, and I could not be prouder to be a part of it. So to the class of 2015, congratulations. And I just want to also go ahead and take a moment. Last night, we recognized this award, presented it officially, but I'd just like to take a moment to recognize the class of 2015's Docere Paralestris awardee, the late Dr. Ken Maihara. The Docere Paralestris Award is University of Nevada School of Medicine's Honored Teacher Award, given annually to those educators that displayed exceptional teaching and mentorship abilities. And Dr. Maihara certainly was deserving of this award, to say the least. He provided a truly special classroom experience that will be forgotten by no one. Despite his waning health and burdensome schedule with all of his medical appointments in the final semester here at UNSUM, he continued to show up and push us to be the best physicians possible. Dr. Maihara was the first to call us doctor. And although he isn't here today to address us as doctors now that we've actually finished, his tireless dedication and the high standards he set for us will definitely live on with the class of 2015. We thank Dr. Maihara's family for joining us here today. Thank you.
thank you, Jimmy, for your remarks, and also thank you for your leadership of the class of 2015. At this time, I would like to welcome and introduce our keynote speaker. It is indeed an honor to have Susan Densner join us today as our speaker. She is a graduate of Dartmouth College, and as you heard earlier, she is the Senior Policy Advisor for the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. She was Editor-in-Chief of Health Affairs, which is the leading journal of health policy, thought, and research. She is an elected member of the Institute of Medicine and the Council on Foreign Relations. She is a former health correspondent for PBS NewsHour with Jim Lehrer, and correspondent and columnist for both U.S. News and World Report and Newsweek. Please join me in welcoming Susan Densner.
Thank you so much, Dean Piasecki. President Johnson, Dean Schwenk, graduating students, friends, and families, esteemed faculty of the University of Nevada School of Medicine, and other honored guests, thank you so much for the honor of addressing you today. The first day of the rest of your lives, you graduates today, of the rest of your lives as doctors of medicine. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You are starting this first day of the rest of your lives in medicine at the most exciting time that many of us can remember, both because of the opportunities that await you and the challenges that we all must overcome. The human mind is really an amazing entity, but we know from the fields of cognitive psychology and of neuroscience that it also has its limits, especially with respect to memory. Almost nobody who graduates from anywhere can remember what was said at his or her graduation, usually because what is said is not especially memorable. I guess I would just like to ask you in the audience, anybody remember anything that was said at a graduation other than go forth and good luck? Well, I can't see you because it's dark out there, but I'm sure there probably are almost no hands up. I hope I'll do a better job today in saying something that maybe you'll remember at least for the next few minutes. Studies of what is called our working memory, that's the place where we temporarily store information so that we can think about it and work with it, show that the most that people can ever remember in their working memory is about 3 or 4 things at any one time. And that's part of the reason why so many of us who are involved in healthcare can so vividly remember something called the triple aim. The triple aim is a concept thought up by some very smart people who worked at the Institute for Healthcare Improvement in Cambridge, Massachusetts. They spent years studying the U.S. healthcare system, and they concluded that we as a country needed to pursue 3 goals. We needed better health, we needed better health care, and we needed it all to cost less, or at least not to get too much more expensive, lest nobody be able to afford it. The need to pursue the triple aim was on target when the concept was thought up a little less than a decade ago, and it remains relevant and timely today. And my hopes for you who are graduating as you embark on this, the first day of the rest of your lives in medicine, is that you too will be guided by the triple aim. Let me suggest how. Consider that first goal of the triple aim, better health. I hope you will always think of yourselves as agents of better health, not just for your patients, but also for the whole country, if not for the whole world. I suspect that most of you know that when it comes to life expectancy, the United States ranks 29th from the top among all nations. When riots broke out in a section of Baltimore, Maryland last month after the death of 25-year-old Freddie Gray in police custody, experts noted that the life expectancy in that poor part of Baltimore was about 70 years, about a decade lower than the national average, and about equal to the life expectancy of Nigeria and Pakistan. The infant mortality rate in that same neighborhood is about the same as that of Algeria, Kazakhstan, and Belize. Freddie Gray, the gentleman who died in police custody, struggled in school for much of his young life, a fact that was probably linked to the lead poisoning he suffered as a child from the peeling lead paint in the building he lived in. Now, most of you know that our health status in life is largely determined by forces outside the healthcare system, by the so-called social determinants of health, like our level of education or our level of income. The social determinants help to explain why residents of one of the poorest counties of this state, Nevada, Nye County, also has the worst health outcomes of any county in the state. 1 in 5 Nye County residents is in a state of poor or fair health. Contrast Nye with Douglas County, the healthiest county in Nevada, where just 1 in 7 county residents lives in poor to fair health. Those differences in incomes, education levels, and other circumstances of life really matter. Now, I know many of you have already begun living your lives in medicine well aware of these phenomena. In one respect, you are already humble about how little health you can actually produce in people whose life circumstances have predisposed them already to such poor health. But at the same time, you also understand and you are determined to make things better. Many of you, as you've already heard, have been delivering care for the uninsured here in Washoe County through the free clinics that you ran. Cassandra Puccinelli, graduating today, you told me about a little 9-year-old Hispanic boy who came to the clinic with a case of undescended testicles that were still in his abdomen, and how you were able to diagnose him quickly, to explain the seriousness of the situation to his parents, and to make arrangements for him to have surgery. In serving those who are disadvantaged this way, you have already learned the lesson that Mahatma Gandhi preached, that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Next, to another goal of the AAA, I hope you will think of yourselves as agents of a more affordable and sustainable healthcare system. Again, I know most of you already know that the U.S. has far and away the most expensive healthcare system in the world. As a friend of mine jokes, there's a reason that those robes have green trim on them. Now, I know your families would prefer that you bring some of that green back their way, and we should all be so happy if you do go on to prosper in medicine. But I know that you know that the cost of the system is putting it out of reach for millions of Americans who have things like high deductibles on their health plans. As one of your classmates, Travis Anderson, has put it, the U.S. has the best healthcare system in the world that no one can use. As most of you also know, there's a widespread sense that we as Americans don't get enough value out of our healthcare system for the dollars that we spend on it. We know that our current system pays for care that isn't always necessary and may even be wasteful. After all, as the great physician and author Lewis Thomas wrote, the great secret known to most people in medicine, but still hidden from the general public, is that most things get better by themselves. We also know that much of the medicine we practice in this country is not always based on scientific evidence. As the Institute of Medicine has pointed out, some studies have shown that only 10 to 20% of clinical decisions may in fact be based on evidence. Some of this non-evidence-based care that we provide is wasteful. Some of it is harmful, even though one of the cardinal rules of medicine is do no harm. I hope that you as physicians will always remember that doing no harm should also include doing no financial harm to patients by avoiding giving them care that is unnecessary and overly costly, and that will also inflict needless financial harm on our country. Please be inspired by what Maimonides, the remarkable physician and philosopher who was a Sephardic Jew then living in Spain, wrote more than 900 years ago in his Physician's Prayer, quote, "Inspire me with love for my art and for thy creatures. Do not allow thirst for profit nor ambition for renown interfere with my profession." Well, I've covered goals number 1 and goal number 3 of the Triple Aim, and you may be wondering why I skipped over the second goal, better health care. It's because I saved it for last. We know that thanks to the enormous advances in biomedical research that many of you have already been involved with, that we are making spectacular and important progress in saving lives. One of your classmates, Nicholas Chernia, was a research scholar at the National Institutes of Health last year, working on immunotherapy and gene therapy in pediatric cancer. Some of the research he participated in has already been published in the medical journal, The Lancet. In one early trial, 2/3 of children who were facing, at best, about a 10% chance of survival from a particular type of leukemia were actually disease-free because of these treatments 2 years later. That is better health care. And of course, we all want more of it. For all our scientific and technical proficiency, though, we know that our health care, as I've said, has serious shortcomings. Let's take safety. The Joint Commission has reported that about 50 times a week in this country, a patient goes into surgery and has the wrong body part operated on because somebody on the medical team makes a mistake. The right brain gets operated on instead of the left brain, or the right leg gets amputated instead of the left leg. And worse, sometimes it's not just the wrong body part, it's the wrong person. Mr. Smith was supposed to get the brain operation, not Ms. Jones. She was supposed to get her leg amputated, but she got the brain operation anyway. In Crossing the Quality Chasm, a famous Institute of Medicine report released in 2001, the expert authors who crafted the report called for health care delivered in the United States to be safer, to be more effective, more efficient, more timely, more equitable, and more patient-centered. That's a wonderful list that we all should aspire to, but I think they left off one important adjective that you've already heard a couple of times this afternoon. It's the word compassionate. We need a healthcare system that is compassionate, and that means we need you to be compassionate. Now, compassionate doesn't just mean that you have empathy with your patients. The word compassion comes from the Latin word compatior, which means to suffer, patior, along with the word com, which means with. Being compassionate means suffering with your patients. Suffering with your patients is serving them. And it's also taking a step along your own road towards self-fulfillment and enlightenment about your role as a physician. Let me illustrate this, and let me draw my remarks today to a close by reading you part of a note that a young college student I know who experienced a serious illness recently wrote about the doctors and nurses and others who cared for him. I quote, "If anyone was curious as to why I suddenly disappeared from campus, I was diagnosed with leukemia on February 26th. Since then, I've been in the hospital undergoing treatment and recovering. Today, after 33 days in patient room 123, I'm happy to be able to say that no leukemia cells were found in my biopsy and that I'm able to be discharged from care. I won't hesitate to say that the past 5 weeks have been the 5 that have most shaped and shaken me of any 5 that I can remember. I've been taken care of these past 5 weeks by 2 amazing groups of people, a world-class medical staff, and my unendingly supportive friends and family. I can't adequately express my gratitude to either group in simple words. Without the modern medicinal treatments I received, I would probably no longer be alive. But the medical system is more than simply the treatment technology. The doctors and the nurses and the others I've worked with have had an explanation and a solution for every eddy in the seemingly endless stream of difficulties over the last few weeks. And at every step of the treatment, they've been as personally supportive of me as they have been technically supportive. I would not have wanted to fight this battle with anybody else. Well, that note was written by my own 20-year-old son, Will, who was diagnosed with acute promyelocytic leukemia last February. And I'm delighted to tell you that he is now in remission and his prognosis is excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. But I really don't tell you this story to tell you about my son, because this story is really about you. Someday soon, if not already, some patient or some group of patients will be writing just such a note to you or about you. They will laud your technical skills in healing them, but even more so, your compassion in caring for them and in suffering with them. And when you read those notes from your patients, you will probably weep tears of gratitude and joy. As physicians, you've been granted the privilege of touching the lives of other human beings in the profoundest of ways. The hope and the wish of all of us here today is that you will now go forth on this, the first day of the rest of your lives in medicine, to make the most of this priceless gift. Good luck and Godspeed.
Susan, thank you. Thank you for that, and thank you for being with us for these special events. At this point, I would like to recognize the following people who will assist in presenting the hoods to the graduates. These include Dr. Jennifer Hagan, Associate Dean for Faculty Development, and Dr. Cherie Singer, Associate Dean for Student Affairs. And I would like to ask the following individuals to proceed to the stage right. President Mark Johnson, Dean Thomas Schwenk, and Dr. Helen Gray, graduate of the class of 2008 and president of the University of Nevada School of Medicine Alumni Association. Graduates and Hooders, please stand and come forward as I call your names. And please do not forget to pause for a photograph of your special moment. Hillary Jean Allen, hooded by Dr. Stanton Holcomb Allen. Travis Jonathan Anderson, hooded by Jeannie Plourde. Paul Thomas Baumgartner, hooded by Tondi Baumgartner. Zachary Ernest Benson, hooded by Zyra Elizabeth Benson. Brian Neil Biaggi, hooded by Kathleen Biaggi. Joshua Sean Bowler, hooded by Laurel Elizabeth Bowler. Renee Lynn Butler, hooded by Linda Butler. Leah Chancellor, hooded by Thomas Hamilton. Doris Chen, hooded by Shuyan Fu. Jonathan H. Cho, hooded by Kenneth K. Cho. Audrey Sue Legaspi Cruz, hooded by Elena May Legaspi Cruz. Tatini Datta, hooded by Ajoy Datta. Rory Datar, hooded by Autumn Datar. Jacob Derringer, hooded by Dr. Paul Derringer. Dion Denise Draculich, hooded by Victor Draculich. Whitney Evans Dufresne, hooded by Michael McFarland Knott. Joshua Addison Gable, hooded by Wendy Warren Camper. Joanne Benjo, hooded by Grace Benjo. Jennifer Courtney Giannopoulos, hooded by John Giannopoulos. Alexander Singh Gill, hooded by Susan Gill. Kelly Lynn Godecki, hooded by Dr. Judith Wilson. Ashley Lauren Gray, hooded by Stephen Gray. Brandon Christopher Harsh, hooded by Carol Lynn Harsh. Jason Forbes Hill, hooded by Dr. John Swanson. Michael Hill, hooded by Dr. Kathy Hill. Richard Stephen Huntsman, hooded by Maren Huntsman. Kevin Lawrence Heyer, hooded by Jessica Bain Heyer. Alejandro Ibarra, hooded by Maria Ocampo. Matthew Lawrence Ingle, hooded by Dr. Richard Morris Ingle. Zachary Alexander Johnson, hooded by Dr. David H. Johnson. Reza Kazemi, hooded by Sohaila Goravanchi. Aubrey Elizabeth Claich, hooded by Dr. Larry Claich. Jenny Lamb, hooded by Tunu Lamb. Shay Lewis, hooded by Brody Lewis. Roxanne Lee, hooded by Dr. Gary Shen. Alessio Luinetti, hooded by Paola Piazzi. Vincent Tayluk Ma, hooded by Chi Ma. Elizabeth Marie Marchioni, hooded by Tullio Marchioni. Andrew C. Mehta, hooded by Sham S. Mehta. Casey William Muir, hooded by Kylie Muir. Ashley Susan Gale Naughton, hooded by Dr. Martin Naughton. Shruti Patel, hooded by Dharmi Patel. Photos. Ashley Noel Payne, hooded by Kathy Payne. Stephen Kenneth Portner, hooded by Emily Portner. Cassandra Lynn Puccinelli, hooded by Brian Warner Hagan. Matthew John Sabatini, hooded by Dr. Scarlett Shepard. Alexandra Elizabeth Shawno, hooded by Robert Shawno. Troy Gregory Shields, hooded by Chelsea Shields. Marissa Chiotti, hooded by Dr. Joshua Chiotti. Shay Holden Snyder, hooded by Scott Snyder. Jacob Russell Stever, hooded by Dr. Amanda Stever. Laura Nicole Stroop, hooded by Janet Piety. Elizabeth Ann Tejas Richardson, hooded by Brian Richardson. Nicole Marie Tarian, hooded by Rosemarie Tarian. Nicholas Paul Chernia, hooded by Karen Chernia. Michael Terry Ulrich, hooded by Susan Collins. Angelina Maria Vera, hooded by Freddie Vera. James Joseph Verlanik, hooded by Teresa Verlanik. Holly Villamana, hooded by Dr. Jonathan Floriani. Cynthia Sherelle Wade, hooded by Claudine Wade. James Wong, hooded by Chinsu Cheng Chen. Milad Webb, hooded by Dr. Ellen Webb. Colin Andrew West, hooded by John West. Helena Bikova, hooded by Dr. Roman Bika. Seth Alden Winterton, hooded by Dr. Stephanie Winterton. Stacy Wong, hooded by Na Trong. Joseph K. Ray, hooded by William W. Ray. Richard Youngs, hooded by Dr. Andrew Coley. Jessica Marie Zirko, hooded by Marina Gonzalez. I would now like to call up onto the stage Lieutenant Colonel J. Ivan Lopez, Medical Corps, United States Army Reserve, also faculty in the Department of Neurology, and Major Eric Stringer, Air National Guard, United States Air Force, and they will perform the officer commissioning of 5 of our graduates. Josh. And the 5 graduates who are being commissioned are Joshua Addison Gable, Joanne Benjo, Zachary Alexander Johnson, Alessio Luinetti, and Joseph K. Ray.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Alessio A. Ray,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office for which I am about to enter.
for the office for which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
So please raise your right hands. I state your names.
Zachary Alexander Johnson.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear
true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office to which I am about to enter.
of the office
to which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
like to ask the class of 2015, the physicians on stage, and all the physicians in the audience to please stand as they reaffirm their commitment to the medical profession and join our students in reciting the physician's oath, which can be found on page 46 of your program. Dr. Helen Gray will lead the recitation of the oath.
Good afternoon. I just want to repeat what our mission is for the Alumni Association prior to doing the physician's oath. And that is that our Alumni Association exists to build and foster a community to support lifelong learning, service, and connection to the School of Medicine for the benefit of students and alumni. For those who have preceded you and those who will follow, we ask you to continue our traditions of compassion and excellence. You guys ready? All right. So I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. I will give to my teachers the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. The health of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me even after the patient has died. I will maintain by all the means in my power the honor and the noble traditions of the medical profession. My colleagues will be my sisters and brothers. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. And I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. Please be seated. I would now like to ask President Johnson to the podium to confer the Doctor of Medicine degree upon the class of 2015.
Would the class please rise? By virtue of the laws of the state of Nevada and the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the Nevada System of Higher Education, I confer upon you the Doctor of Medicine degrees that you have earned with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations belonging thereto. Congratulations, doctors.
I would like to take just a moment to thank the people who have made this afternoon such a success. Thank you, Dr. Dean Schwenk, for your leadership of our great school. Thank you to our protocol expert, Dr. Josh Baker. Thank you to the School of Medicine faculty and to the staff of the Office of Academic Affairs. We also thank the Great Basin Brass Ensemble, who provided wonderful music for us today. We thank the University of Nevada, Reno Military Science, ROTC, for the presentation of the flags, and we thank the staff of Lawler Event Center. Thank you all for your dedication to the students and for your support of this special day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of this wonderful event. To the class of 2015, thank you for sharing your journey with us. Please rise and join me in celebrating the graduating class as they recess.